The federal government is still getting up to speed this morning after its 16-day partial shutdown. President Obama said Wednesday he did not expect the deadlock to repeat itself next year. Other observers don't share that optimism. Chief Washington correspondent and host of Face the Nation, Bob Schieffer, is with us. Bob, good morning.
Hey, good morning, Nora.
You know, Bob, we're learning what could be the cost of this shutdown. Now, it was 16 days long. Could have cost up to $24 billion. Do you have any confidence that this won't happen again?
You know, I may be the only person in Washington that feels this way, but I think that they actually learned something from this. I mean, when I hear the Republican leader in the Senate, Mitch McConnell, saying, I have learned there's no education in the second kick of a mule, and hear him say on the record, I will not be a part of something to shut down the government again, I kind of take him at his word. I think that a lot of Republicans have learned something from this. I agree with President Obama yesterday when he said there are no winners here, but I think we're in a little different place. I picked up the Washington Post this morning, and I see a quote from Trent Lott, retired former Republican leader of the Senate, about as conservative as you can get. And someone said to him, what do you do now with these Tea Party types? And he said, you roll them. He said, I think there has to be some pushback against these people who arrive in Washington and think they've got all the answers. He could be talking about nobody but Republican Senator Ted Cruz. Now, this is not Harry Reid or the Democrats talking about these. These are Republicans. You're hearing the same kind of talk coming from former chairman of the Republican committee, Haley Barbour. So I think the two sides are going to work together. It's going to take some doing. It's going to have to be done behind the scenes. I think the Democrats have to be very careful not to rub the Republicans' noses in this. But I think we are in a different place today than we were at the start of this week.
Bob, is the president going to be part of this? I mean, he has this practice of leaving it up to Congress to do the negotiating, and this is taking place in the Congress, but will he have a role and influence?
You know, I think he has to be a part of it, Charlie. He's got to be the guy who gets this thing going. And I'm not saying he does that by holding a bunch of news conferences and that sort of thing. But, you know, he might do worse than to call some of these Republicans on the phone behind the scenes when the cameras are off and say, you know, why don't you come by here and let's see if we can't figure something out that'll help both of us here. I mean, that's the way we saw these people who you know, made Washington work, like Lyndon Johnson in the past. That's the way they operated.
And encourage those people who are out front, like Trent Lott and others, even though he's not in Congress but has influence, to back them up in terms of the fact that they're out there criticizing their own party.
Yes. I mean, I think the model for Democrats right now is Abraham Lincoln in his second inaugural address when he said, with malice toward none and charity for all, let us go forward now, and so forth. The thing now is to concentrate on how to get this stuff done. Nobody was helped by this. The approval rating for the Republican Party is lower than it has ever been. The president's approval rating is under 50%. Nobody gained from this thing, but I think there was something to learn. And my hope is that the people who count around here did learn something.
Yeah, there was a lesson, Bob, for everybody to learn. There's a lesson for everybody to learn in this.
You know what I've learned? You know what I've learned? That there's nothing to learn in the second kick of a mule.
That's what Mitch McConnell said.
And speaking of, Bob, thank you so much. And, you know, speaking of Mitch McConnell, this Sunday, Mitch McConnell is Bob Schieffer's guest on Face the Nation. Of course, McConnell is the Senate minority leader, and he will join Bob there. It's an interview you can see only on Face the Nation here on CBS.